Hello everyone, welcome back. So I'm going to attempt to purge the air out of the power steering system on this 2012 F550 to make an adapter that goes on here. You can get a Mighty Vac adapter MVA662, or you can get an OTC adapter, which is 211-265. I don't have the adapters, so what I'm going to try to do is make an adapter for this opening. So what I did was I took the cap, obviously, I removed the O-ring here, and I used a set of calipers to measure the surface inside the O-ring, and I just set it to that. And I went around and I'm looking for something that fits in that hole that is that size or just a smidge bigger to make a tighter seal, because I don't think this makes a real tight seal because it's got to hold vacuum. So I put the caliper on there, and I don't know what measurement I got because the battery's dead. What I came up with was a 3/4 socket. It's a chrome socket. This is just a smidge bigger, so I think it'll work. If not, I could probably kind of sand it down or something, get a little, make it a little bit smaller, but it almost fits. It's like it kind of like catches and pops back and forth a little bit, but it's right there. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to use this in the O-ring that I have, which is the same O-ring that was on that seal there. Looks like it was an R20. So it came out of my box O-rings. So we got R20. This fits on there nicely. So I do have a vacuum thing, Mighty Vac kit. I just really need the vacuum, and I might put the cup or something in there just to keep any fluid from getting in there. So with that, I think this is the right tab. So 1/4 inch NPT, and I'm going to use, I know I got a barb fitting in here somewhere. There it is. So I'll either use this one depending on the size. This is a 3/8, or I'm gonna just cut it off this guy here. This one's a little smaller. I don't know what size line comes with this. I'll probably end up using this one. But anyway, so it's 1/4 inch NPT fitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to drill out this hole here, the square, tap that right in the center so we have our adapter. And then I'll leave the O-ring on, obviously, and kind of shove it in the hole. And hopefully it fits. I think it will. I guess the hard part's going to be keeping it from getting sucked in, so I'll probably put something along the outside here. Maybe I'll weld a washer on this, or I could probably use a hose clamp too and put a hose clamp on there so it doesn't get in. But I might just weld a washer right on there. I guess the hard part would be getting it straight. But anyway, so being this is hardened, I'm going to try to anneal it. I think that's the word for it, or unharden it. So to harden things, what you do is you get them real hot. I don't know what color, red. I'm just going to get it real hot. And you let it cool slow. And it should soften the metal. If you can soften a socket, I don't know if you can. This is just kind of an experiment. So we'll see if it works. That's pretty hot. Well, I would say that has been softened. It's still actually pretty hot. So, let that finish cooling. I'm actually going to see, like I say, if I can find something like a washer that'll fit on that can be like my base, so it won't get sucked in. That's what I'm going for. I have to put it low enough where the little writing isn't inside where the seal is, because that'll probably leak. But I don't think it'll be a problem, so we'll look for a washer. So I got the socket in there and a stack of washers to get it where I want. I got the washers and they clamp down to try to keep it from kind of cocking in there. Let's see how it goes. What is that? Oh, it looks pretty straight. Well, hopefully it goes down far enough. Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to try to drill this with a 7/16 bit. This is a 3/8 drive. It's not exactly big enough to take the whole thing out. It's pretty close. I'm hoping I can seal it up with Teflon tape. But maybe when I tap it, it'll go deeper, because I mean it is a tapered tap. So let's give it a try. I don't know. There's a lot of corner in there still. Might have to go the next size up to 3/8 NPT. I don't have a tap for that, though, is the problem. So I'm trying to get this started, because I don't have the right drive for it. Trying to get it started in like a square hole. Basically it goes and drops in the hole. I mean, it seems to be working. Well, it's pretty close. I still got them squares in there a little bit. Actually, I don't know what you can see. Yeah, so little square corners are in there a little. Might be able to use some thread sealant, maybe. I don't know, I think it's kind of asking a lot, but I mean the thread goes through that groove, so it's really, I think some thread sealant might make that work, because it's not, I mean the thread is covering that hole. So I'm gonna put some thread sealant tape on and some thread sealant goo on. Try to jump that gap. See how this goes. Well, it's in there. I don't know if it'll seal, but it's in there. So you can see the corners are still kind of squared off, but that might be all right. Like I say, the thread actually gets into the corner, so I mean, though it is harder to hold a vacuum than it is to hold pressure. We'll find out. Maybe I can kind of use it like caulking. Yeah, let that dry for a little bit. Alright, so I got my little tool here. I put a couple of O-rings on there, 3 of them, because it's just going to slide up, I believe. So we'll try to get it went in there. Let's give it a try. Put some vacuum on it, see what it does. Wobbly. So it says apply 20 to 25 inches of vacuum. Is that on pressure? Oh, it's on pressure. It's on pressure. Ooh, it's making bubbles. Oops. Kind of what I was afraid of. So I put the bottle in there. I won't suck any fluid out. It's probably squeezing the hoses and everything. It's gonna make a mess inside my thing. in case. Oops, crap. What's that? Now we're up to 15. Well, we got about 18, 19 inches of mercury. I'm gonna let it sit there because I'm sucking a lot of stuff out. A lot of fluids filling up my cup, and I'm gonna have to stop if I keep going. I can't imagine having to hit 20. I mean, I think 25 or 27 or something's like perfect vacuum or some of that nature, but so I'm gonna let that sit for a while. Let's see if we have a leak. It'll show if it has a leak because the pressure will drop. I mean, you can also be leaking at these fittings here. If you look right here, it's sucking in a bubble. So I mean, these ain't super tight. Well, I ran it up to 22 pounds or inches of mercury. So we're at 22. You can see, looks like this had fluid in it and it's kind of going back down. So it is taking the air out. I don't know how much this will actually get you. Yeah, about 22, 23. That might be all it'll do. So, like I said, we'll let that sit. See what happens. The way Ford wants you to officially fill this is put it under 20 to 25 inches of mercury. They have a little T that comes off of your adapter here. So it comes up, it tees off. There's a ball valve here, a ball valve here. This goes into your fluid. So you're going to vacuum fill the system is how they want you to do it. So, yeah, so you're going to have a T here, or T here, right off of there. T's over, ball valve, ball valve. This line will go to your vacuum, which you'll bring it up to, like say, 20, 25 inches of mercury. You'll have this ball valve closed. So once you get it under vacuum, you'll close this ball valve. You'll put this hose into a fluid bottle, or Mercon 5, and then you'll open up the ball valve and it will suck it out and it will fill the system. That's how they want you to fill it. And then if you have problems with noise and whining, they say to purge it. So that's what we're trying to do now, because I'm having problems with whining. I'm trying to figure out whether or not it's a bad pump, if it's a bad steering box, or something of that nature. We're basically holding vacuum here. I gotta wonder if that's going down because this over here was leaking a little bit. So maybe it's letting vacuum off. I guess it would show on the gauge, right? We're still at 22, but it's coming off a smidge. I think it might be this hose. As you can see, I'm getting bubbles right here, so. No, I'm not getting any more bubbles now. I shoved it on a little bit more. I'm actually relatively impressed by that, holding vacuum like that, because, you know, it wasn't like it was hard to shove it in there, or it actually just kind of slipped right in. It's holding vacuum pretty good, if you ask me. So we're still at 22. I would think if we had a leak that was causing as much air as I was having, it would drop significantly. I don't think it would stay pressurized as long as it is. So anyway, so I got it under vacuum. Let's see what we got to do next. What does it say? No air. If air is not purged from the power steering system correctly, premature power steering pump failure may result. The condition may occur on pre-delivery vehicles with evidence of aerated fluid or on vehicles that have had steering component repairs, which is what this did. A whine heard from the power steering pump can be caused by air in the system. The power steering purge procedure must be carried out prior to a component repair, for which power steering noise complaints are accompanied by evidence of aerated fluid, which is what I had. Raise the front wheels off the floor. Refer to appropriate section for procedure. So you're going to raise the front wheels up, chock blocks, wheel stands, or jack stands, and all your safety steps. Tightly insert the power steering evacuation cap into the reservoir and connect vacuum pump kit. Start the engine. Using a vacuum pump kit, apply vacuum and maintain a maximum vacuum of 20 to 25 inches of mercury. If vacuum pump kit does not maintain vacuum, check the power steering system for leaks before proceeding. For additional information, refer to power steering fluid leak test in this section. If equipped with hydro boost, apply the brake pedal 4 times. Do not hold the steering wheel against the stop for any extended amount of time. Damage to the power steering pump may occur. Cycle steering wheel fully from stop to stop 10 times. Did I say that you had to start the engine? Yeah, so start the engine. Using vacuum pump, maintain a maximum vacuum. If equipped with hydro boost, apply the brake pedal 4 times. Check the steering wheel. Cycle the steering wheel fully from stop to stop 10 times. Stop the engine. Raise the vacuum. Release the vacuum and remove the vacuum pump kit and the power steering evacuation cap. Note, do not overfill reservoir. Let's start this up. Let's see if we're holding a vacuum. Yep, we're at 25. We actually got more vacuum. It's kind of weird. It's at 22. Oh, it's probably because the pump's sucking down. Putting an extra vacuum on it. So let's turn the wheel back and forth. 10 times. It's gonna be a while, I'm guessing. Alright, so I hit the brake pedal 4 times, turn the steering wheel back and forth 10 times. Let's see what we got. We definitely sucked the fluid down. Still under a vacuum. Got 20 inches of vacuum. Definitely looks like where fluid's down, so I gotta top that back off. Now that it's got some air out. Some of this pressure off. I want to see if I can actually tip this upside down and let it. Yep, that works. Do that. Still got the 3 O-rings on there. I'm kind of surprised the O-ring didn't get sucked in, actually. That worked pretty well. I mean, granted, the actual tool would have probably been better, but that worked. So let me top this back off. The fluid was right in the middle here, and obviously the lines are gonna expand. Let's see how much air was in there, because I had that full when we started. So we're in the middle. Put the cap back on. So what I use? Yeah, probably like 1/4 of a quart. Well, we got something wrong with something. So when I started out, when I just had that running, that sucked that right down. And now there's a bunch of air in it. Well, so the whole process of putting was it 20 to 25 inches of vacuum on this, and then just starting the engine and turning it back and forth 10 times isn't exactly as simple as they say that it is. So I've done that probably like 7 or 8 times now. So I put under a vacuum, ran it, and it would suck down the fluid in here. And then I'd shut the, I was like, okay, it sucked down the fluid, I'll shut the truck off. I shut the truck off, I come up and it came rising right back up because it was getting air in it. Now you keep in mind, most of the system was drained. So if you have a system that's not drained and it's basically full, then this would probably work the first time for you. But because I had replaced most of the stuff and I had a lot less fluid in there to begin with, I think that's why I've had such a hard time with it. But just now am I getting it to actually do what it's supposed to do. So like I said, I had to put a vacuum on it, run it, turn the wheel back and forth side to side, say 10 times, and then I would get out and I would release the vacuum and I'd fill up the container. Now a couple of times I had to, I got a lot of foam in there because it was so low, but after that it dropped down to the bottom. I just keep topping it off and then put another vacuum on it and do it again. I say it took me quite a few tries to do that, which is a little discouraging, but I just kept at it. So I can see in the bottle out there, I don't know if you can see in the bottle out there, but I'm just now getting it so it's not really dropping. You probably can't see that. Can you see it? I don't know. It's right there where the light is. I got the light on it so I can see in it. So you got a pretty smooth turn now. I actually have power steering. Didn't have power steering at first, and so I was going back and forth on what the problem might be, and I just had air in there. Once I started seeing that the level was going down but it wasn't staying down, a lot of problem is when I shut it off it would fill with foam and it'd come right back up to the top, so it would look like it was full the whole time. And it's like, I don't know what's going on with it until it started getting, so once it started filling up and I was getting all the air out, then I started getting my power steering back and it stopped dropping as far as it was dropping. I don't have pump whine anymore, so at least I got that. I'm just kind of going back and forth. Before, I mean, there was no power steering at all. I could push the brakes now and I'm not getting a wah 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 wah. But anyway, so that's how I guess you purge your system of air. Come back out here and look. That adapter was actually working pretty well. I'm gonna buy the actual adapter. Let's see. So we're right there between the min and the max like we were before. I think I got most of the air out. Yes, the pressure did go down a little bit, so I might have got a little more air out of there. Like if I let the pressure off, that probably would drop. Hold on. Let's look. So I did get a little bit more air out of there. It's a little bit towards the min side than the max side. I think I had it in the middle last time. So yeah, this has been quite frustrating, to be perfectly honest. I didn't know if I had a bad pump, a bad booster. It kind of stinks about changing multiple things as you don't know what actually is wrong. So anyway, seems to be good now. That's how you purge your system, I guess. So I would say that that was a success right there. It worked out pretty well. Didn't get sucked in. Good use of a socket that I don't use. But anyway, big help. So yeah. So I hope that can help somebody. Thanks for watching.